There's been a second day of violent protests in Pakistan as its former Prime Minister Imran Khan appeared in court accused of corruption.
Life in basements for frontline residents as Ukraine gears up for a long-awaited counter-offensive.
Pakistan remains gripped by tension following the arrest of opposition leader Imran Khan. Amid heightened security, he appeared in a special court in police headquarters in Islamabad, where a judge extended his detention for 8 days. The former Prime Minister was arrested yesterday on corruption charges. The government denies his supporters claim that the case is politically motivated.
And Islamabad High Court has declared his arrest under proper legal procedures and under lawful authority. So this is an arrest which is not motivated by any political victimization. This is an arrest which was not done at the behest of the government.
Riots exploded across the country following Khan's detention, leading to the death of at least one person. Khan is the 7th former Prime Minister to be arrested in Pakistan's turbulent political history.
Ukraine's southern front lies just 7 kilometers from the town of Orikhiv, where some 1,000 residents are trying to survive incessant shelling, waiting for a major Ukrainian offensive. Life is mostly lived in basements, where meals are taken and touches of spring keep up spirits. Outside, there's so much destruction.
Дуже сумно і прямо до плачу. Кожен день приходиш. Сьогодні їду на роботу, стояв дом. Їду вечором після роботи, дома немає. Це дуже сумно. І плакати можна кожен день. Ну, нельзя. Вороги цього не дождуться.
The shelter is beneath a local school, and it's where people can take a shower, wash clothes and get a meal. As the war grinds on, food is becoming increasingly important across the country. In Kyiv, volunteers are getting creative to feed soldiers fighting on the front. They're using nuts and dried fruit to make up energy bars for the troops, and they're also adapting a Ukrainian favourite, the traditional beetroot and cabbage soup, borscht. They're making a version from dried vegetables, which can then be rehydrated.
На фронті взагалі головне – це боєприпаси і харчування. Це те, що чим стріляють і що споживають воїни, щоб була сила. Харчування дуже зручне в такому вигляді, тому що воно компактне. Такий пакет можна зберігати в рюкзаку, навіть в себе в кармані, в куртці, за бронежилетом носити. Що, перші не їдять?
Місяць назад!
France's National Assembly has adopted a resolution calling on the EU to list Russian Wagner mercenaries as a terrorist group. The resolution, which is non-binding, has passed with unanimous support across the political spectrum. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has thanked French ministers for adopting the plan.
Окрема вдячність парламенту Франції за сьогоднішнє рішення щодо визнання терористичною російської псевдоприватної групи «Вагнер». Це те, що має бути ухвалено всім світом. Кожен прояв тероризму має бути знищений, а кожен терорист засуджений.
Britain is set to formally prescribe the Wagner Group as a terrorist organization to increase pressure on Moscow. The US has already imposed sanctions on its support network. The resolution's author says the aim is to send a political and symbolic message against the mercenary group, which it says deliberately targets civilians for political gain.
Crossfire in the skies between Israel and Gaza. Palestinian militants have fired more than 100 rockets into Israel in response to 2 straight days of airstrikes, which left 19 dead, including 3 leaders of Palestinian Islamic Jihad and a dozen civilians, including 4 women and 4 children. Air raid sirens immediately began to sound in Israeli towns near the Strip. Many of the rockets were intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defense system. There were no immediate reports about damage or injuries. Hours earlier, Israeli aircraft had again struck targets in Gaza, leaving at least 3 more dead and some 20 wounded. The airstrikes were targeting militants launching rockets. Meanwhile, tension remains in the West Bank. The Israeli army has released images of the night raid against militiamen in the north of the territory. 2 Palestinian youths were killed and another wounded. On Wednesday, a state-run Egyptian television station reported Egypt had brokered an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, but neither side in the fighting confirmed this.
Magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll emerges vindicated from a New York court after the jury found former US President Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing her in 1996. Although the charge that Trump raped her was rejected, Carroll was awarded $5 million in damages in a judgment that may haunt Trump's re-election ambitions. Trump immediately lashed out with a statement on his social media site, claiming again that he does not know Carroll, and described the verdict as a disgrace and a continuation of the witch hunt against him. Trump's lawyers said there will be an appeal.
Strange verdict. This was a rape claim. It was a rape case all along, and the jury rejected that, but made other findings. So we'll obviously be appealing those other findings, but they rejected her rape claim, and she'd always claimed this was a rape case. So it's a little perplexing.
Because the trial was in a civil court rather than criminal, Trump will not be required to register as a sex offender.
Within minutes.
But the verdict comes as he is facing a raft of other legal cases, including hush money paid to a porn star and his activities during the US Capitol insurrection.
In Vienna's Naschmarkt, customers are feeling the pinch. Economics experts say the Austrian government is not doing enough to bring inflation under control, and it's consumers who are picking up the tab.
Das ärgert mich eigentlich, dass Arbeit dann nicht mehr ausreicht, davon täglich seine Lebensmittel kaufen zu können.
Die Wassermelone, derzeit 1 Kilo 2,50 €. Wie kann ein Leute leisten einkaufen?
Latvia, Slovakia, Lithuania, Estonia and Austria have the highest inflation rates in the Eurozone. And while the rate is declining in the first 4 countries, it's still going up month on month in Austria. The Economic Research Institute in Vienna criticises the government measures taken so far and is calling for a change in policy.
Der Staat könnte jetzt noch seine Eigentümermacht ausnützen und die Preissenkung, die am europäischen Markt schon stattgefunden hat bei Energie, bei Gas und Strom, dass das stärker und schneller an die Konsumenten und die Klein- und Mittelbetriebe weitergegeben wird.
Laut dem Wirtschaftsforscher soll bei Nahrungsmittelpreisen zwar bald eine Entlastung eintreten, doch überall dort, wo viel Personal benötigt wird, wie etwa in der Gastronomie, soll es auch weiterhin üppige Preiserhöhungen geben. Johannes Bleschberger, Euronews, Wien.
A region in the south of France is set to declare a crisis drought level. The Agly, one of the main rivers of the Pyrenees Orientales, has been all but completely dried up since the middle of March. These cracked soils testify the lack of water in this tourist area that is also home to many farmers. For this orchard, adapting to new water restrictions will be a hard blow when dry periods have already done so much damage in Europe this year.
Le bourgeon terminal, normalement, cette saison, ce morceau de rameau-là, il devrait arriver par ici. Et il pousse un tout petit peu, mais normalement, c'est rouge très vif. Et là, c'est rouge terne. Donc, ça manque clairement d'eau.
Car washing, gardening and pool filling will be banned. This first set of water restrictions is an effort to conserve water resources and prioritizes drinking water above other use. The department has had a rainfall deficit of 60 to 65% over the past year.
On est vraiment dans une situation tout à fait inédite dans la mesure où on observe actuellement des niveaux qu'on est censé observer des années sèches en juillet ou en août.
A crisis level of drought has already been activated in 4 French departments this year. And the drought raises fears of another serious phenomenon, an outbreak of fires due to dry vegetation.
The Ministry of Interior in Tunisia has confirmed a police officer shot dead 2 worshippers at a synagogue on Tuesday, as well as killing 2 security force members. Officials identified the civilian victims as a 30-year-old Tunisian and a French national aged 42, but didn't name them. They'd been attending an annual pilgrimage at the Ghriba synagogue on the island of Djerba. The assailant was eventually shot. The synagogue is the oldest in Africa and had already been targeted in 2002 by a suicide truck bombing that killed 21. However, authorities investigating the incident, in which several other people were wounded, have refrained from calling it a terrorist attack.
Hello Europe, this is Liverpool calling. We're here in this city with its iconic music history for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. The UK is hosting the event on behalf of Ukraine, so there's a real sense of responsibility to ensure that it's a celebration of Ukrainian cultural heritage.
And so it begins. Tuesday saw the first semi-final of the iconic glittering contest, with 15 acts battling it out for a place in the grand final on Saturday. The 10 countries who made it were Croatia, Moldova, Switzerland, Norway, the Czech Republic, Israel, Portugal, Sweden, Serbia and Finland.
Yeah, there was a lot of highlights. I loved pretty much everyone. It was amazing. From Croatia to Latvia, that didn't qualify, but they were so good.
My highlight was Norway. Yeah, definitely.
Mine was cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha.
Theo Farrance reporting from a bathtub at Eurovision